Hey guys, so I'm going to do Harold's 6/7 month update. He will be 7 months on the 4th, so in 3 days. And we were in Florida during his 6 months, so I did not get an update for that one. So I'm going to just update you on both. So the first thing we'll talk about is his appearance. He has pretty much blonde hair. There's some brown in it, but his hair is really lightened up a lot, and he's definitely getting more of it. It's thicker and getting longer. His eyes are blue, and they are probably staying that way. His weight is actually being watched right now. If you've watched his other videos, you would know that he started out when he was born at like 9 pounds 5 ounces, and he stayed in the high 90s to 80th percentiles for his weight and height for the first couple of months. But he has not had an appointment since his 4th month, and he actually went in last week because I thought he might have an ear infection, and they weighed him, and he had only gained 12 ounces since his 4-month appointment, which was the day he turned 4 months. And he's almost 7 months now. So to me, that was kind of, alarming. I was definitely expecting him to weigh more than that, just because of the progression that he had done since he was born and up until his 4-month mark. And so I asked the doctor about it, and she asked, how he's eating. He is still breastfed, but he's also now eating some solids, which I know are just for him to taste and not as for a nutrition value. But she said as far as what he's eating, that is normal for his age. So he's not, not eating enough. So they're going to watch it. She said it could be just because he's a lot more active. Right around 4 months, we actually got him a jumperoo, and so he started, jumping and bouncing in that for, I would say he's not in it as much anymore, but he probably would bounce in it for at least an hour a day. Just like jumping, maybe even more. I mean, he loved that thing. So she was saying that just because he was more active, and now, he scoots all over the place. He doesn't crawl, but he scoots all over the place. So that could be why he isn't gaining so much weight. But he does actually have his wellness checkup on Tuesday, and so they're just going to keep an eye on it and make sure that he's not losing weight, that he's just slowly gaining weight. So, and he is 2 feet 1 inch. I think when I looked at it, he was 5th percentile for weight and 3rd percentile for height. So we'll see. It was just crazy to me because he started out, in such high percentiles. But yeah, so that's that. And then let's see. As far as teeth go, I believe in my last update he had 1 tooth. Well, at about 5 months and a week and a half, he cut his 2nd tooth. It was on the bottom. And then we went to Florida May 1st, and within the first 3 days, I would say by May 3rd, he had cut his 3rd tooth, and that was one of the top ones in the front. And within a week after that, he got his 4th tooth. So when we came home from Florida, he had 4 teeth, and that was on the 15th of May, and since we've been back, he has cut his 5th tooth. So since he was 4 months old, he is, since he was 5 months old, in the last 2 months, he has cut 4 teeth. And he is still teething. So they're just coming in like crazy. He's dealing really well with the teething. It does bother him, but it doesn't keep him awake, which is great. It just makes him more fussy at times. So, let's see, his separation anxiety that I had mentioned in his 5 months is a lot better. When we went to Florida, he was around a lot of new people. He was around you know, my family, because we stayed at my parents' house, so that right there was 4 people that he was always seeing. Not to mention the office ladies that work there and stuff like that. And then with their church, we had a ton of church activities that we went to, so there was people there. I went and saw my friends with, you know, there. So he was constantly around new people. And when we got back, sorry, I'm looking down. He's down there fidgeting everywhere. So when we got back, he, you know, was back in situations that when we left, he had trouble with. But he is doing so much better. He now will let people hold him. Not for a long time sometimes. It just depends on his mood. But whether I'm in the room or not, he will let other people hold him, which is fantastic because he would not do that before. And so yeah, that's just such an improvement. I'm so happy. We're still working on it. I am definitely trying to make sure he is around other people a lot, just to avoid that him getting back into that separation anxiety routine. You're not supposed to have Daddy's book. So yeah, that's on that. He is sitting up by himself as long as you put him in the position. He actually, 2 days ago, I went in to get him out of his crib and he had sat up, but he hasn't done it since, so I think it was an accident. But otherwise, if you put him in sitting position, he'll stay there, but he's not quite sure exactly how to get to sitting up from like laying down. He is not crawling, but he will definitely assume the position, and he scoots around everywhere. He can get around, it just isn't the crawling, typical crawling. So yeah, and let's see, so he had a growth spurt that lasted 2 weeks long right before we went to Florida. His growth spurts have always lasted longer than they are recommended to or suggested to or normal to, I don't know. Anyways, so it was 2 weeks long. The day before we left for Florida, he like finally was kind of back to not being crazy fussy and more tired and stuff like that. And then we went to Florida, and you know, he didn't have his crib, he was around a bunch of people, and so he had kind of a rough time there. And with that said, when we got back, he was not on any type of schedule at all as far as sleeping, eating. You know, I feed on demand, and he was just sleeping sporadically, not sleeping through the night still. But we are working on that currently, and I finally got him to, before he had his growth spurt, I finally got him to sleep to where I would feed him at 11, and then he'd sleep from 8:30 p.m. to around 7 a.m. But he was waking up around between 6 and 7. But that was only for a few nights before he hit his growth spurt and stopped doing that. So now we are at, I found that if I feed him at 11, wake him up to feed him, he still wakes up at 4 to eat. If I don't wake him up at 11, he still wakes up at 4 to eat. So for whatever reason, he likes eating at 4 a.m. So for right now, I'm not feeding him at 11 because, you know, if he's going to wake up at 4 anyways, I don't really need to feed him at 11. So I've been I'll go to sleep and then I'll feed him at 4. Now, that's gross. He spit up. Okay. Hang on a sec. So I do not feed him at 11 right now. I feed him at 4. He goes to bed, I don't know, between 7:30 and 8:30. Like I said, his schedule is completely out of whack right now. So we are definitely trying to figure out what we're going to do as far as the schedule from now on, I guess. I don't know. So like I said, with sleeping, feeding, everything. So I am feeding him solids though now. Pretty much every day he gets some solids. He also has some little snacks that he really likes. But he loves eating solids, whether it's, you know, a little piece of your food that you give him or baby food or his little, you know, dissolvable snacks. He loves any kind of solids. and he is at the point where if you're eating and he's not, he freaks out at you. He does not do well. So it's really challenging to eat if he's awake and not eating. Like taking him to restaurants is impossible. We actually took him yesterday and he did okay, but we had to feed him like something the entire time. So yeah, I don't really like taking him to sit down restaurants. It's kind of silly because it's not relaxing at all. But anyways, I think that's it. Let's see. Yep. Oh, he loves being outside. We will go outside and just sit on the front steps, and he will just look at the cars as long as I will sit out there with him. He absolutely loves it. So that is like his favorite place to be. He's in the house. We have been going on walks, me and him, and then also his dad will go with us if he's awake and not at work. So that's nice. But yeah, he is doing really well. You can see him right now. He looks like he's about to... Oh, hi. What are you doing? Oh, he just spit up. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to have to go. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye, guys.